On the 603rd day of the war in Ukraine, the fighting was concentrated in these areas. In Donetsk front, heavy fighting continues in Avdiivka sector. After several days of positional battles, today the Russian army launched another wave of powerful armored attacks trying to break through the Ukrainian defense near Stepove. The Russian command gathered enough tanks and armored vehicles to form an armored fist and attack from Krasnohorivka towards the Ukrainian positions near the railway northeast of Stepove. Russian forces have attempted many times to advance in this direction, however, their previous efforts were thwarted by minefields as well as the combined work of the Ukrainian drone and ATGM crews. Even today's attacks seem to have failed for the same reasons. The first Russian armored unit, consisting of at least 2 tanks and 6 armored personnel carriers, was ambushed by the Ukrainian artillery only 1 kilometer west of Krasnohorivka. The Ukrainian artillery delivered a precise strike on one of the armored vehicles, damaging it and blocking the way for the rest of the Russian unit, who started to withdraw. After that, other accurate strikes followed, and most of the armored vehicles were apparently damaged as the Russian infantry is seen dismounting and leaving the area on foot. From the footage, we can see that out of the entire Russian convoy, only 1 tank and 1 armored vehicle managed to push west and reach the forest lines near the railway, where they were also destroyed, very likely after running over the mines. Later, in a footage published by the Ukrainian source Deep State taken from the 116th Territorial Brigade, it is evident that the Russians suffered other losses near the railway northeast of Stepove. In the footage, 4 more Russian armored vehicles are seen burning, all lined up near the same place. From the zoomed-in images posted by Ukrainian sources, it seems that the Russians again ran over a line of mines that were placed by Ukrainian forces before the offensive began. Ukrainian artillery used cluster munition to target the dismounted Russian soldiers, causing very heavy casualties among the Russian forces. In another interesting video posted today by Ukrainian sources, it seems that Ukrainian soldiers did not rely only on mines and artillery, but they actively ambushed the Russian forces from close distance, taking advantage from their well-prepared defensive positions. On this photo, you can see Ukrainian soldiers striking an advancing Russian tank with an RPG anti-tank missile from a very close distance. The tank, however, seems to miss a line of mines in front of it and gets destroyed after running over them, with the Russian crew abandoning the tank and trying to leave the area only to get ambushed by the Ukrainian soldiers. Russian sources are starting to accept that so far their offensive in Avdiivka has been a massive failure. Today, Russian source Rybar retracted from the statements made about the Russian forces controlling the areas near the village of Berdichi, while other Russian sources published a message from a Russian soldier from the battlefield. According to his message, the Russian forces have not achieved any success in this sector, and the Russian soldiers are finding it impossible to hold any of the achieved positions because of the intensity of the Ukrainian artillery and tank fire from the second line. The Russian soldier confirms that the losses among the Russian forces are very high and also complains about the lack of counter-battery fire as well as the insufficient number of fired artillery shells. In Kherson front, Ukrainian forces continue their operations across the Dnipro River. Based on geolocated footage, it seems that the Russian artillery continues to shell the areas north of the villages of Poima and Pishchanivka, indicating that Ukrainian forces maintain a presence near the northern outskirts of the settlements. It looks like the Ukrainian forces are expanding their area of operations, as today Russian sources reported about Ukrainian activity near the settlements of Krynki, Kozachi Lageri and Oleshki. According to Russian sources Rybar and Romanov, this morning assault units of the armed forces of Ukraine crossed the river and established a foothold inside the village of Krynki, only a few hundred meters east of the town of Kozachi Lageri. Geolocated footage confirms this news, as Russian sources published footage of their drones targeting Ukrainian forces while they are seen moving through the buildings inside of the village of Krynki. It seems that the Russian ground forces were very poorly prepared for this attack, as they shared footage of using handmade mortars made from metal pipes in lack of the real ones. Russian forces are relying a lot on airstrikes, but according to Rybar, despite the work done by the Russian aviation and artillery, Ukrainian soldiers still hold a number of buildings inside the village of Krynki. Russian sources noted that Ukrainians are operating at least 19 speedboats to perform their operations across the river, and according to them, Ukrainians also maintain a presence north of Avdiivka, and while being under the coverage of their artillery and drones, they are trying to build up a large force for a decisive attack upon this town. Friends, if you like my daily updates, I kindly ask you to hit the like and subscribe buttons, as this will greatly help the channel to reach a wider audience. That's all for today's update. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and have a great day.